What's going on, everyone? So this Cam Thomas situation is one that's very interesting. So it is looking more and more likely that Cam Thomas is going to enter at the qualifying or accept the qualifying offer, that the Brooklyn Nets just don't seem interested in paying him and giving him the opportunity that he's looking for. He looks at himself as one of the top kind of guards and scorers in this league. They're looking at him more in like that Lou Williams type role, which me personally, to where I look at him as, right, I think he would be great on a team, on a contender, coming off the bench and go get you, 15 to 20 a night. He's the kind of guy that I could see winning, sixth man of the year a couple times and just being a real piece, right? On any given night, go off, right? And you just let him cook, right? When he's having one of those nights where he can't miss, right? You just let him go out there, do what he does best, score the basketball. But there's questions about just kind of his facilitating in the way that he sees the court, kind of gets a little tunnel vision, the defensive side of the ball, right? There's a lot of things that go into Cam Thomas that are just concerning for Brooklyn and many other teams. However, right, if I'm the Lakers, do I go and try to convince Cam Thomas to come? Right? Brooklyn seems interested to get off of him. If he's willing to accept the qualifying offer, it'd be easy to go to Brooklyn and just be like, hey, you're going to lose him for nothing anyway. Why not let us take him? Right? And let him kind of be the scorer off the bench and present it to him as like, hey, look what happened with Malik Monk. Right? Malik Monk was in a very similar situation. He was similar in age too at the time. And it was like, he thought he was this kind of guy, and Charlotte and the other teams didn't think that he was. So he goes and he signs a prove-it deal, a one-year deal for the Lakers. It was on a vet minimum, and everyone was like, wow. And he played so well for the Lakers. He was actually one of the few bright spots that year. That was that 2021 year where the team was just old and disastrous, right? Like, he ended up playing himself well enough to where he actually got a good contract, and now he's making, $18 million a year, playing in Sacramento. So if I'm the Lakers, right, I would, especially if he accepts the qualifying, because the qualifying offer is like $7 million. Could you do something where, it's like, we'll give you, maybe you could even do a salary dump trade, right? Or maybe even sign a 1+1, right? Like, give them like, hey, tell you what, we'll do a 2-year, take a 2-year deal, work out a sign and trade 2-year deal. We'll give you 1+1. You can even have the player option, and we'll give you, $11 million a year, right? And maybe the Lakers can do something like a Gabe Vincent and a Dalton Connect and bring in a Cam Thomas. And if Cam Thomas is really good for you, well, then you can go and keep him, right? And if he's on $11 million, even if he accepts the player option the following season, it's not enough to hurt you. And you'd have an $11 million expiring contract that you can go and flip. So you basically are in the same position with Gabe Vincent. If he's really good for you, he goes and he leaves after a year, and all is fine, right? Like, it doesn't hurt anything. It's like you're just kind of swapping guys. I mean, it sucked to get off of Gabe Vincent or a Dalton Connect, but it would open up a roster spot. It'd free up salary space to where you could bring in 2 guys now, and then also bring in Cam Thomas to help a Lakers bench that has last year was one of the worst scoring benches in all of basketball. Right? Like, the Lakers could use a guy like Cam Thomas off the bench, right? And he also would allow, if, Reeves gets the night off, or, Luka gets the night off or something like that. Cam Thomas is a guy that in a pinch can start and go get you 20 to 30 points on any given night. I mean, you look at last year, he averaged 24 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists on 44% from the floor. And what if he is really good, right? Because you got to think, he would have a chip on his back, right? He would be more motivated than he's ever been because he's going to want a contract. Right? What if he goes out and he just balls for you? He balls on the bench because, like, even him in a backup role, right? You like, if I'm the Lakers, I'm like, dude, okay, you could stay on Brooklyn, accept the qualifying offer, and come off the bench for Brooklyn, and you're probably going to go nowhere. Maybe a team takes a flyer on you or something like that, but you're not going to get what you're looking for. Or you can come to the Lakers, come off the bench, and you'll be on a much bigger spotlight, much bigger grand scale. If you're a huge contributor to us winning games and potentially winning a championship, you don't think that that's going to get you paid? Hell, the Lakers might even pay him at that point, right? So I think you could approach the Cam Thomas situation several ways. Right, you could have him accept the qualifying offer and then maybe work out a trade and just, do something. Or maybe you're doing like a Gabe Vincent and a second round pick, right, for Cam Thomas, and just kind of seeing how does that look? How does that work for you, right? Or, like I said, you could do something where, hey, don't accept the qualifying offer. Take 2 years at like 11, 12 million, something like that, right? We'll give you the player option for year 2 rather than what Brooklyn wants to do where they want to give team option. Come to Lakers, bet on yourself for a year. Your plan is to bet on yourself for a year anyway at 8 million, right? We're willing to give you a little extra, right? Because it helps the Lakers now. Again, so basically the way I look at it is you make Cam Thomas's contract match Gabe Vincent's. So Gabe Vincent's making $11.5 million, right? So perfect. Give Cam Thomas 2 years, 23 million, right? Boom. He comes in. He's got a player option. So if it doesn't work out, he can leave. If it does work out, he can leave. If it doesn't work out, right, and he does opt in because he's not getting bigger contracts elsewhere, or maybe he just wants to stay with the Lakers, it doesn't hurt you because it's not affecting your 2027 salary cap space. It gives you a young 23-year-old that you can package in a trade if you need to, or even in the offseason if he does opt in. You have him, Austin Reeves, and whatever else to go make a trade and do things, right? Like, so if you're the Lakers, I think you'd maintain flexibility. You solve a major need for the Lakers off the bench, which is scoring, right? You're not losing any like major components. Cam Thomas is younger than Dalton Connect, right? Like, so again, like worst case scenario, he leaves in a year and it is what it is, right? Best case scenario, he's a huge factor for this piece. It ends up paying dividends, and maybe you win an NBA championship because now you have a 24-point-a-game guy coming off the bench as a scorer. Right? So if you can find something like that, because he is a flamethrower type of player. That's what he is. Right? That's why I think and look at him best as that sixth man, in that six-man role. A guy that can come off the bench and go and just give you buckets. Right? You're looking for him to slot in, come in, and just be yourself. We're not looking for you to do anything else, right? Make the occasional play, grab some rebounds, hustle, do the dirty work, play some defense, right? Buy in on the defensive side. Can you get him to do that? Right? But primarily, we want, if you can go get 30 a night, go get 30 a night. And he's a guy that can play on ball, he can play off ball, right? So it's just, again, it gives you that versatility and brings in a young guy that gives you the flyer. And it's like Cam Thomas, right? Like Gabe Vincent, I like Gabe Vincent. And especially with what we saw towards the back end of the season, if he can kind of get back to that and being more consistent, like that would be huge. But you do have Marcus Smart now. Top of Marcus Smart, a lot of talks, even from Nate McMillan, talking about Bronny actually getting some minutes and playing a rotation role. Okay, so if that's really the plan, and you're going to do that, you're going to give Bronny some real minutes, right? And you're going to give Marcus Smart, as whether he's starting or coming off the bench or whatever, right? Then you can afford to lose a Gabe Vincent, and it's like, okay, well, Cam Thomas, again, gives you a guy that can make some plays, not like a play. He's a guy that can make plays. He's not a playmaker. Talk about that all the time. There's a big difference between guys that can make plays. A lot of guys can go get 5 assists, but they're not really playmakers. But he's a guy that is, without a doubt, a bucket getter. He is, without a doubt, a guy that can go get you 20 plus a night, and a guy that you could bring off your bench to be a scorer. And him coming off the bench, even him in 15 minutes a night off the bench for the Lakers is going to get him more attention than him playing 40 minutes a night on a team like Brooklyn, and especially if they're really bad. Like, the Lakers are really good. Cam Thomas is coming off the bench and giving you 15 points a night, and in the running for sixth man of the year, and now he has the bump and all that stuff. That was Malik Monk. Right, and then Malik Monk ended up going and getting paid, and he ended up signing, what was his first guy? I think it was like $13 million a year or something like that, right? But now, given, because that was several seasons ago now, 4 seasons ago now, right? Like, so maybe Cam Thomas gets, a $15, $18 million a year contract, right? And then the next one is, 20 plus million, and he's still young enough to take a flyer on. I do. I think it's something to at least consider. It's not something that you have to go like run to the door to go do, but I do like, I just think it's at least pick up the phone and just see. Like, what's the worst thing that happens? Like, go, like, we'll just keep him. Maybe you can even get Cam Thomas to kind of push his way. No, I want to go to Lakers. Make it happen, right? Type thing. But last year, problem was he didn't play a ton of games. He suffered with some injuries, plus Brooklyn, hey, take your time type thing. But 25 games, 31.2 minutes per game, 18.2 field goal attempts per game, shot 43.8% from the floor. On 8 attempts, he shot 35% from three-point range, which was down from the last 2 seasons, right? So the previous year, on 6 attempts, he shot 36.5%. The year before that, on 2.5 attempts, shot 38.3%. But he'll also be playing alongside Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves, so I do think that that could be there. But if he can be, 36.5% on 8 attempts per game from three-point range, I think that that could be huge. I think that could be beneficial. 2-point range last year, on 10.4 attempts, he shot 51% from the floor, had an EFG of 51.3%. Free throw shooting on 6 attempts. He is a career 4-attempt guy. He shot 88.1%, so an excellent free throw shooter. 3.3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3.8 assists, a steal, half a block, and 24 points per game. Again, and this is 31.5 minutes per game. So he's a guy, again, that I think could come in, play a role for you, be a bucket getter off the bench. I'm not expecting him to score 24 a night, but can he come off the bench and give you, 15 a night on better efficiency because he's playing alongside Luka, LeBron, and stuff, right? I don't hate it. Get you good young talent, get you some athleticism, get you a guy that can do things out there, right? And you're kind of, it's kind of like a flyer move. I don't hate it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. As always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.